Hello, Diane Roberts here. Long time no video. I know it's been a couple of months and I wanted to be more regular in my retirement videos. However, life gets in the way. I don't know, every time I make a recording I always say I am going to do something about having a better schedule or be recording more. It's so difficult. Well, here I am tonight. I'm not talking about knitting tonight. I'm not talking about quilting tonight. Well, I am talking about quilting in a way. Alright, no knitting, no crochet, no stamping of cards. So if that's what you're interested in, tonight it's not going to be any of that. Tonight we're going to be doing machine embroidery, but it's quilting. It's quilting in the hoop. And I thought I'd just give you a peek at what I'm working on. It is an Anita Good design. They are a great company that creates embroidery designs for all sewing machines. I happen to have a brother, Dream Creator XE. It's not the tippity top of the line, but it's, you know, it's probably midline. I don't know. That's what I'll say. Probably around midline. And I like it very much. I've had it for probably about 4 years now. And I like to use it for a lot of different things, but tonight it's going to be a quilt, quilting in the hoop, and it's a baby quilt. I'll show you the software instructions. With it you get a book and a CD that has all the designs for all the different types of machines. You can use Elna, you can use Brother, you can use Baby Lock, you can use Pfaff. They're all there in the instructions. So you pick the file off the CD that is compatible to your machine. And this one is called Fairy Tales. And I like the look of this particular set of quilting blocks. I think they look sort of watercolored. So. And it's not having all the bright colors of baby quilts. It's got subtles, the nice soft colors. But what I'm doing is to create my borders around the blocks. I'm using a jelly roll that I got of Cape Facet fabrics, and I'm using these colors, nice vibrant colors, non-gender specific, to border the blocks. I'm going to be making rectangular blocks, a large rectangular block, a smaller square block, and then a smaller rectangular block. And the three of those together would make a larger block, and you can mix and match and make all different sizes. If you haven't done this before, it sounds way complicated, but really it's quite simple. What I'd like to do is show you how I bind do the quilting in the hoop, not actually binding, but putting the borders on the blocks. I'll show you a couple of blocks that I haven't finished. They're not trimmed yet. I'll be trimming these to a 1/2 inch outside the final stitching because I'll be using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Let me just fold it up to give you an idea of what that will look like. You fold them up, and I'm not using the same fabric on each side to make it really eye-catching for the babies. So this one is a quote from Alice in Wonderland. So technically not really a fairy tale, but a child's book. And this doesn't look like the rabbit in Alice in Wonderland, but it's a cute little rabbit, sort of dressed up the way Alice would be dressed. So it's kind of like, it's a very loose interpretation of Alice. As you can see, it's a cute little rabbit sitting on a mushroom, and it says, "You're mad, bonkers, but I'll tell you a secret, all the best people are." And there's a quote from Alice in Wonderland. So that's how the blocks turn out after they are bordered. Here's a bigger rectangle, which I know I have this on close-up, so you're probably not going to see the whole thing in the frame of my camera, but there it is, Rumpelstiltskin. And there's a cute little mouse dressed again in the pastels, and he's got the gold thread turning straw into gold. These two will be trimmed down to 1/2 inch. and then all stitched together, and then for the quilting you can do stitch in the ditch. You use a mesh stabilizer. You use batting, a layer of batting, and a layer of whatever type of cotton you want to use. I'm using this very natural looking cotton fabric. So let me show you what we do next. I've stitched out the design. This one's Jack and the Beanstalk, and this is the famous cow for which Jack traded the magic beans to grow the beanstalk. Now I've kind of changed the colors as they were set up in the instructions because of the colors I had available, and two, because I kind of liked it and thought it would give me the look I was looking for, and I really do like this. So after you finish, the machine gives you all the instructions as how to do this in the hoop. You put down your stabilizer, and then it stitches out a design and shows you where to put your batting, and then it stitches out another line, shows you where to put your cotton or whatever fabric you're using for your quilt. And then color by color the machine does the embroidery per the instructions on the in the booklet or on your machine, on the little tablet pad of your machine. So now I have finished off the design. Oh, I see something I can clip there. I have these really cool little snips that work really well for a jump stitch when they're doing the nostrils of the cow. So cute. Okay, so what we will be doing next is we will be putting the borders on the block. I'll probably just do one because you don't need to see me do 4 borders. It gets pretty boring, and it's probably going to be pretty loud. I don't know how loud my machine's going to come across on the camera. So the first thing we do is change the thread color first of all, because I do it in a neutral color. I don't use regular color just in case I do a crooked seam. I don't want the colors of the basting stitches showing on the face of my quilt. So sorry about that, I should have already had this threaded. Let me thread it quickly with this is my basic ivory color that I've been using for the stippling, and anytime ivory is called for in the pattern. Just bumped into my camera. I want to make sure that I've still got it in a good place so that you can see what's going on. Okay, I'll thread the needle. Very good. And then the next step of the embroidery design is to do a placement stitch for your border fabric. So we put the presser foot down and we press the button go, and it's going to outline where my fabric needs to be placed. You can see the machine will just go ahead, and what I'm going to have to do is stitch 1/4 of an inch in relation to the stitching guide stitches here, right here. So there it is. So there's your stitching guide. And looking at my other blocks, I think we will put this color on top. I haven't put this color on top yet. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be putting my fabric face down. The machine's going to sew it on, and then I'm going to be turning it up to make it be the border. So what I do is put this in about 1/4 of an inch over the placement stitches, just like this. And it's nice if you use a jelly roll because you already have strips of fabric cut. And now what the machine is going to, whoops, I wasn't supposed to do that. Ignore that, I was threading for nothing. I change colors so many times doing these things. I think I'm always threading the needle, but I didn't have to. I just have to put the presser foot down, press go, and it's going to stitch this border piece in place. I love the little music at the end. It tells you that step is complete. So now we take our border and we bring it up under the presser foot, and I just kind of finger press it a bit, push it back onto where it needs to be, put my presser foot down, and now the machine is going to stitch this piece of fabric into place. And here we go. I like to make sure. You can tape this down with like frog tape or painter's tape if you were worried about the fabric getting pulled out of the way, but it's usually pretty simple. So there you have it. That's our first border in place. I can do one more if it's quick, or maybe I should, it's the same thing. We're going to stitch where the fabric goes. We're going to put the fabric in, stitch it, bring it back, finger press it, and then it stitches it in place. And you do that until all four are complete. Let me bring back the small one again. Till all four are complete, and then you will have this cute little block. Then you join them. As I said, you'll be joining them on that stitch line, so when they're trimmed to 1/2 inch, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, I will be putting this one to this one, right sides together of course, and stitching right on that line, so that you see there will be 2 different colors to the borders, but I'm hoping that that's going to lend a lot of excitement. Oh, look at these two almost match. That's because it's all the same fabric line. And there's no guarantee I'm going to be putting these two together. I might be pairing this one like on the other side with the yellows. The yellow to yellow. It's probably going to go more like that. And I have a whole jelly roll worth of strips. So that's what I'll be doing to do this baby quilt. I have, like I said, I've got 3 quilts going right now. I've got a 100 inch by 100 inch queen size block of the month that I started in 2015, that now that I'm retired, I'm finishing all the old projects. That's my oldest project in quilting, I believe. So that one's nearly finished. I don't know if I can show it, but I will definitely show it as soon as it's done. Let me see if I can easily... No, you can't really see that. That's it on the my big ironing board. Can't really show you that in my downstairs room. Pardon the creaking. I think this tripod needs oil. So that's it for tonight. Just wanted to give you a clue as to what I'm doing. Right now, this week is going to be a quilty week, I think. And a little bit of knitting when I go upstairs, when I come out of the... I want to say the cellar. I gotta quit calling it the cellar. When I come out of the basement, or when I leave my studio and return to the living room, I'll go upstairs and I'll probably do knitting during the nighttime. So thanks for watching, and hopefully, I know I say it every time, but hopefully I will be back soon with more retirement activities. Thank you. Bye bye. P.S. Here's another little segment I decided to add on. I finished doing the 3 sides. I'm on the last side, and I thought I'd show you the final side being sewn on to the block. Here it is. I've sewn the placement stitch and put the piece of fabric in place, right sides together. And this is the last one. You can see I'm using all these random colors. I hope this is going to work out. I mean, in my mind, I have this idea as to what it's going to look like. I hope it's going to actually come to fruition, but at least be somewhat resembling what I think it's going to look like. Okay, here we are. So the fabric's in place. I'm not taping anything. I'm being daring. We'll see how we make out. Usually the last ones that can be tough, but we'll see. Put the presser foot down, and oops, kind of like to finger press it a little bit better so I have some threads. I mean, I haven't taken this out of the hoop yet since I started it. I started with a piece of stabilizer, and this whole stitching time should take 64 minutes. But that's a stitching time. There's a lot of play in between each actual stitching segment, so it does take you a little longer than that to do a block. Here we go. We're putting this last piece in place, and all 4 sides will be done. Try to keep my hands and arms out of the camera so you can see how it stitches. Just stitches it along. And as I said, we're going to cut this off 1/2 inch away from that final stitching. And that's going to be our seam allowance. And we'll be stitching right on that 1/2 inch. Isn't it wonderful the way the machine is perfect? And there you have it. Listen to the sound. That sound is the special sound because that means the whole design is completed. It's okay to take it off and take it off the hoop. So we'll take it off. And don't know how well you can see this. Let's see if I can tell. So here it is. The block is done. I'm probably showing it to you too close. Let me get this back a bit. There we have it. There we have it. So I'll be bringing them back to you and showing them to you all trimmed up and starting to be assembled. Thanks again. Bye now.